Flight boss, bitch, for sure. You're not listening to the Mind of an Terry Smooth. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And flight morning, everybody. You know what I'm saying? We're going to flight up right now. We're going to get into this esoteric 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional knowledge right now. So for the most part, let's break this shit down. This video, you're going to understand how everything comes from astrology. I don't care what the fuck you talking about. Even if you want to talk about your goddamn DNA and whatever scientific name they give for people who research DNA. In some way, shape, or form, they're going to tell you that it came from a motherfucking form of stardust. So that's goddamn astrology. So for the most part, now, I know a lot of people get spooked out about spells and rituals and the actual effects that it give off the people. So yeah, I'm very aware of that in the 3rd dimension. And I can see how y'all get lost into y'all rituals and come up with a lot of y'all spells based upon men and women own interpretations of what's actually going on around us. And I'm going to explain to you how astrology is just trying to tell you that this is what's going on around us. The moment men and women tie their own interpretation onto things, that's when things get out of hand. And then we got concepts of spells and rituals. You know what I'm saying? And then the person who's trying to tell you where spells and rituals come from, this person get looked at as the person who's actually doing the spells and rituals and a witch and all that shit. So I'm here to clear all that up. I need to make things clear. You see what I'm saying? Now, check this out. I understand how y'all feel about spells. Now, so let's talk about spells. What are spells backed and supported by? In order for you to spell, you have to spell something out. Spelling, right? So we're talking about language, and we're talking about symbols and sigils, right? We know in order for you to have a spell or a ritual, that's just like chemistry. That's just taking two elements, mixing them together to create another energy. You know what I'm saying? In order for something to be understood in the best way that this person who put it together to understand it and put it out there for others. So spells go deep because we know spells are like frequencies. So a certain word will put you in a certain frequency, and if you vibrate on that frequency long enough, you start to create. You start to create what comes out of that frequency. And if we're doing that as a collective conscious, you need to understand that everybody share a possibility of being up under someone else's spell. So we're all as a collective conscious agreeing to terms and conditions of spells. You know what I'm saying? So don't get spooked out by spells and things of that nature and rituals. It just get lost when people put their own interpretation on it. Because here's what's actually going on. For you to make a spelling, for you to make a language, for you to make a ritual, right? What is that backed and supported by? You need a symbol. You need a sigil, right? So here's where we get into. We have to go back to astrology. Signs, symbols, and sigils. Where do symbols and sigils even come from? Signs in the sky. I don't give a fuck if you looking at the planetary alignments like the ancients was, or you was going into your mentality and trying to draw together conclusions. That's a form of looking at signs in the sky. So for the most part, now the ancients was looking at planetary alignments, which is a sign in the sky, right? And they was drawing out signs and symbols through these alignments. So if you got 3 planets aligning each other, that's a sign in the sky. They felt the energy signature and they drew out the sigil and the symbol. And a trine, 3 planets make a trine. So the triangle taught them a lot. Taught them rulership, taught them alignment, taught them how to take three of the same energies from different perspectives and align it with each other. So this is where you get the concept of street signs. What is on a street sign? A symbol or a sigil to remind you of what kind of energy or what direction you need to go, or where that star was moving, or where you as a star need to move as far as the street sign. You got the concept of zodiac signs. What is the representation of a zodiac sign? Symbols. Sigils. You see what I'm saying? And then you got all kind, and then this is how we even learn how to map out signs, because signs, we're able to create symbols and sigils out of them to remind us of what that energy signature represents. You see what I'm saying? So don't get it fucked up. Everything is backed and supported by astrology. So astrology is just basically telling you that before you get lost into your own interpretation of shit, like religion, when you start to get in your own religion and your own science and all that shit, astrology is just trying to tell you this is what these things are. This is just what they're doing. And this is how you're coming up with these things in the first place. So now you understand a spell and a ritual is backed and supported by signs and symbols and sigils. And signs, symbols, and sigils is backed and supported by astrology. You wouldn't even know how to create a symbol or a sign, a symbol or a sigil without the signs, aka astrology. And then you wouldn't even be able to make a spell or a ritual without the sign, symbol, or the sigil. You see what I'm saying? You wouldn't even be able to make a ritual or a spell. You get what I'm saying? How you gonna, without that alignment and you knowing what this do, you wouldn't even be able to come up with a spell or a ritual to say that's L. That's the letter L. You had to see that alignment, and you had to see how something being squared off or boxed off and that energy signature play out first, which would be the sign in the sky. Then that sign in the sky, you'll see the alignment, and then you would draw a conclusion down here, and then that's where you put yourself in a spell and lock yourself into that energy signature on how you perceive it. You see what I'm saying? Now that we understand where spells and rituals come from, now we have to understand this. Okay, now you need to understand what kind of spell you're dealing with. Is you're dealing with a religious spell? Is you're dealing with because all text, all languages is a spell. I don't care how you look at it, it's a spell. So is you dealing with a spiritual spell? Is you dealing with a religious spell? Is you dealing with a scientific spell? Is you dealing with an educational spell? Is you dealing with a mathematical spell? Now, when we talk about this type of shit, this has nothing to do with this has nothing to do with what you think is right or wrong, or you're being spooked out about a spell. This is what spirits do in order to formulate a shape and form to go into long enough to sustain itself, or to understand how an energy playing out the best way it can in this realm of reality. That's why I still don't understand why people still have arguments about subjective and objective morality. You need to take morality out of the conversation, subjective and because for an example, like people will come up with arguments like there are things objective, which is right. You're right. There are things objective, but morality is not one of them. In the discussion, any added on, if you try to take morality and try to conflate it with the conversation or the argument of subjectivity and objectivity, that's where you fall short. That's where you get lost. Morality is a subjective thing. Period. So to say that there are objective things, so why can't morality be objective? That's your lostness. You know what I'm saying? Morality isn't even in the discussion of there's plenty things that can be in a discussion of objectivity. Morality is not one of them. Morality falls under subjectivity. You know what I'm saying? So you got once you understand that, you don't have to read a lot of books. You could just understand that it takes a group of people to come as a collective conscious to come to an agreement of a term of condition. Now that term of condition, in general, is always going to be subjective. We never had to use an objective standard to create a subjective reality. Now there's things in this objective reality that we can't. Like, for example, 1 + 1 is 2. Now, that's objective. But once we start to talk about objectivity type conversations, then a lot of things can't even be applied. And morality is one of them. You know what I'm saying? But that's just for all my theologians out there, or all my that, because it'd be a lot of like, you know what I'm saying? I'll be on that. I'm Archangel Uriel, y'all. I be on every fucking thing. You see what I'm saying? I know everything in the third dimension realm. And I'm not saying I know everything as far as I know it. Like, that's not what know means. Y'all need to understand knowing is knowledge, which means knowledge. Once you step into the realm of knowing, you step into a realm of knowledge, which is that's actually what y'all call the forever fallen, which y'all the endless pit, the bottomless pit. The bottomless pit. That's knowledge. I don't give a fuck. See, y'all need to start. I told y'all I go by a system called systematic truth. So it's y'all get lost into y'all own interpretations, but a lot of these things be the same thing. So a lot of y'all be arguing the same thing. So if I was to come into your argument and be like, knowledge is the bottomless pit, a religious person or a theologian look at me like, what the fuck is you talking about? The bottomless pit, you have to go to this religious text. You have to go to this religious text. And then if I say something as Archangel Uriel like this, no, your religious text is talking about what the fuck I'm talking about. And with me and my soul group and us in the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, what we be talking about. You just lost into one nigga come from where I live at and was talking about that shit. Then if I say that, the conversation gonna go way hayward. And we're never going to reach the conclusion, and then we're going to get into a whole bunch of other shit like, oh, you smoke or this, that, and third, where I'm just trying to get you back to the spirit to understand this. Knowledge means no ledge. That's why I spelled that way in general. And no ledge means if you fall off that ledge, there's a never-ending fall. There's a never-ending, you're never going to land. So what happens when you deal with knowledge, right? Knowledge is forever. Knowledge is always expanding. You can never get enough knowledge, right? That's the same goddamn energy signature as a motherfucking bottomless pit. That's why I be telling y'all motherfuckers stop being too consciously aware of shit. I care about your spirit. In the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, you slow as fuck. I don't want you falling into some fucking infinite regress type shit. I don't want you falling forever. In the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, we see that. Like y'all talk about it down here, but y'all don't be about it. In the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, we be about that shit. That's how it looks. To me, you look like you just falling forever. So you're going to have to attach to this, attach to that light, attach to that light. You go through so many different solar systems, so many different galaxies, you keep falling because you keep thinking you keep finding new lights. You keep thinking you finding new jewels, new gems, but you just keep finding new bullshit. Damn, I care about your spirit. I don't tell no fucking lies. So if I say knowledge is the motherfucker what they was talking about when they was trying to tell you what the bottomless pit is, your ass don't need to be trying to leave no comments or telling me, no, read this motherfucking text because this is what the bottomless pit mean. The bottomless pit is a fucking energy signature when your ass is forever falling. So I don't care if your ass you forever falling in love. You forever falling in your pleasures. You forever falling in your passion. You forever falling, whatever you forever falling in some way, shape, or form, is you trying to obtain some knowledge over and over again in it. Otherwise, why the fuck you keep experiencing it? You see what I'm saying? So, your concept of knowledge is even wrong. Because people will teach you that you're supposed to go get all the knowledge. Go get all the knowledge in the world. These are the people who want you forever falling. These are the people who want you going to college for 100 years. These are the people who want all your energy and light being paid attention to what they want you to pay attention to, and then you have little to no time to create your own life, to live in your own life, to get your own mansion. Everybody's supposed to be in motherfucking mansions by the time they turn 21. You know what I'm saying? You ain't supposed to be in no goddamn mansion because you went to school for 40 years and now you can retire, and then that's supposed to be like that's supposed to be normal, like that's acceptable. That's not fucking acceptable. Not where I came from. That's not fucking acceptable. See what I'm saying? So I be just trying to tell y'all, like, on some real shit, and to a lot of people it might sound fake, but it's real. It's real. You know what I'm saying? So when we even talk about signs, sigils, and things of that nature, when I be speaking and everything, and then when I be talking about the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension, basically all that is where whatever you see in the 3rd dimension derives from. You see what I'm saying? So that's actually, so I just broke down why we even got street signs in the first place. So a person who's lost in the left brain in the 3rd dimension right now and be like, nah, the reason we got street signs and stuff like that is because we got cars and we have to drive. You things of that nature. You know what I'm saying? But as Archangel Uriel from a 4th, 5th, and 6th dimensional level, I'm looking at it like this. Well, the reason why your streets and the way y'all made the pavement and concrete is y'all made that out of an alignment. The whole landmass is a fucking star alignment. So certain cities, certain streets and neighborhoods within cities it's aligned in a certain way that just living, you live out that energy signature of that alignment. That's how deep astrology is. And if you think I'm bullshitting, I guarantee if you go type in it's probably something called locational astrology. You know what I'm saying? Vocational astrology. You can't escape it. It's everything. When we talk about astrology is the body. See, we get lost into people's interpretation of what they think astrology means, but we need to understand the root cause of everything. Get past men and women and and start to learn and start to try to understand for yourself, why would somebody even come up with these things in the first place? Then once you decipher it, then you can step into that world for yourself and be like, see, that's what astrology is. It is the world. Then you trying to decipher the world for yourself is just your own astrology, your own perception of this world. But everything is celestial. You celestial. You could call yourself terrestrial, but from a celestial being, you celestial. Because to a celestial being, to it's terrestrial. It's like, so once you think about it, it's like this the energy signature of a set aside all men interpretations and women interpretations, and just look at the energy signature of it. That's the most natural, the most nature, the first energy signature here to get to. So it's almost like astrology allows you to have your own perception. You could look up at everything that's going on around you and have your own interpretation of it. AKA, it allows you to have your own dreams and imagination. Because once you have your own interpretation, that develops into your own dream and imagination. Then everybody, with astrology, everybody get to have their own dreams and imagination. But we can't do that. We got to have astronomers come in. We got to have logic come in. We got to have a one person or a group of people say, no, this what this mean, and y'all are tripping. You can't have your own imagination about this. This ain't about dreams and imagination. This is about this. So keep your dreams and imagination within the realm you are in. Matter of fact, make sure you come to our schools and learn what we're trying to teach you, so our grandkids could get paid and y'all can stay just learning what we're trying to teach you. Even though 10 or 20 years we might change up the science a little bit. We might even tell y'all it have human affairs and shit. We might even tell y'all made out of that shit. So we might even tell y'all it do affect y'all, but at the same time, it don't really affect y'all like that. You know what I'm saying? It can't tell y'all future and shit. Even though it's how you got here, so it was your future, but it's not that way. You know what I'm saying? It's not yeah, okay, I get it. I get it. And that's why I'm here. Flight boss, bitch. Goddamn air. I love y'all.